Hello, my name is Adam Davis, and this is Science Scoop. You know, the genetically inherited changes of the individuals that are members of a population's gene pool, or what the heretics like to call evolution, is a process that is occurring everywhere, even right here in Bloomington. But Bloomington is an isolated town, much different than the surrounding burgs and villes. You know, like Mitchell, Bedford, and Ellettsville. Could the reason be its unique environment that makes Bloomington's population of humans so different, that has made them diverge so much from the surrounding gene pool? They are the only town nearby with a huge university. Is this the cause of their isolation? Is Bloomington's gene pool in a state of genetic equilibrium? To be more specific, there are 7 conditions that must be present for genetic equilibrium to occur. Let's define genetic equilibrium. An easy way of describing it would be calling it anti-evolution. See, genetic equilibrium and evolution cannot occur simultaneously. Let's look at the environment for clues on whether conditions are right for genetic equilibrium. As for Bloomington, I have a team of top-notch investigators that are going to sleuth their way to the truth. As you may or may not know, a permanent genetic mutation can only occur in the DNA of gametes. Now, when I say permanent genetic mutation, I mean a mutation that will be passed down to the next generation. What happens is a single base pair, one little piece of genetic information, could be copied wrong or altered by some outside influence. This alteration, this change, could affect gene expression, and this can be evident by seeing certain physical traits occurring. These accidents can sometimes be useful, but for the most part are not.
Without researching the genetic makeup of the whole Bloomington community and their predecessors, we can only look at circumstantial evidence. Did you know there are 13 tanning salons in Bloomington? A relatively small town. Mutations have got to be running rampant in a town full of human toast. Thymine dimers are caused by UV radiations, by those toasters. Won't get me in one of those dimers. If left unrepaired, result in genetic mutation.
Thank you, Marlowe. Yikes. Even the New York Times is aware of this fight against genetic equilibrium. In its 2006 article, Skin Cancer is Up, Tanning Industry a Target, it states, and I quote, "Skin cancer is up, tanning industry a target." Yeah, I only read headlines. As you may or may not know, cancer is a mutation gone wild. And with UV radiation causing skin cancer, the integumentary system, still, it can spread to other organs, the sex organs, which have gametes. So, in a way, these toasters, as Marlowe put it, that are burning the bums of the citizenry of Bloomington. I'm not surprised that this whole town is overrun with mutants. Okay, so condition 1 is not being met. What about condition 2 regarding natural selection? Now, only the most fit individuals are going to keep their home, let's say. Fitness being one's ability to survive in the environment in which they are placed. Survive and reproduce so that they may pass on the genetic makeup that allows them the ability to survive. Now, those who aren't fit won't be able to feed themselves nor reproduce because they're going to lose their home. And they're going to have to move outside the city limits, which cost is cheaper. We can even see natural selection occurring on campus. Only those with passing grades are going to be able to maintain eligibility status at IU. Those who are less fit and aren't making passing grades are going to be pushed out of the environment and have to move home back to mom and dad's. But only this time they have to live in the basement because they have already turned my room into an at-home art studio. So natural selection is occurring, both in residential and in an academic sense. Now, as for conditions 4, 5, and 6, which state that everybody in the population is breeding, that they're all producing the same amount of offspring, and that the breeding is random. Well, let me tell you, this is not happening in Bloomington. First of all, not everyone is breeding, at least not for the purpose of producing offspring. And this ain't China. We can have as many kids as we want. And it isn't random, let me tell you, it's rough out there. Like, it's either you gotta be the thinnest or richest or tallest. Not anyone will do. Unless, of course, your girlfriend is trying to get back at you because you were talking to what seemingly was a hot chick. Listen, I told you she was my cousin. Now, condition 3 is definitely not occurring. That one states that the population will be infinitely large. See, this won't occur because of natural selection. There's going to be competition, and only the most fit will remain. Finally, condition 7, which implies that there be genetic isolation. Well, at IU alone, there's 6,800 students who graduate each year, and then new incoming freshmen come in, refreshing the gene pool and allowing new pedigrees of Homo sapiens to reside in this new environment. So there's no way that there's any type of genetic isolation occurring. So, in the end, none of these conditions are being met, and therefore genetic equilibrium is no way at all, without a doubt, occurring in Bloomington. So to recap, the 7 conditions are: migration cannot be occurring, mutation cannot be occurring, natural selection cannot be occurring, the population has to be infinitely large, random mating has to occur, everybody in the population has to be mating, and everybody has to produce the same amount of offspring. This has been another installment of Science Scoop. I'm Adam Davis, reminding you that when you seek the evidence, you scoop the science.